Tonight, there is tension again in Kashmir. In parts of Kashmir, there is a shutdown. Protests are on. Curfew-like restrictions have been brought in. The internet has been shut down. This unrest is over the horrific death of a young school principal, a young man in his late 20s who was picked up by the police for investigation in Avantipora. And the next thing that his family found out was that he was dead. And so people are angry. People are protesting over this alleged incident, a custodial death. A magisterial inquiry has now been ordered and a probe is currently underway. In between, there was a bit of confusion whether Rizwan was being investigated by the police or by the NIA in a militancy-related case, but the NIA came out and gave a clear statement saying they have nothing to do with this case. They are not at all involved. So was he tortured so badly that he died in police custody? What went wrong and how can this be acceptable in Jammu and Kashmir? Few days ago, we brought to you a case of custodial death from Bihar. This one is from Jammu and Kashmir. And time and again, the question that we raise here on The Last Word is what is going on with our police department? Why is it that there is no value for life? This kind of cruelty is meted out so easily within those lockups and those prison cells that often we hear these kind of cases emerge. Let's go across to Farid first to get you the latest on what's happening in Kashmir right now. Farid, we know that a magisterial inquiry has been ordered and you've been tracking this case, but it's been almost 36 hours and more. Has nobody been suspended? Has any of the police officials been questioned so far? What's the action being taken?
Well, Tanvi, that really is the surprising part, or should I say the shocking part, that till now, as I speak to you, nothing has been done by the police or by the governor's administration to send this message across to the family of the victim or generally to the people that they're taking this case very seriously and they're trying to ensure that there is a speedy, fair and time-bound probe so as to fix responsibility and take action. Now, normally, anywhere if you see such kind of a case, you will find out that the people who were immediately responsible for the duties at that time through the night, as far as that cell or police station or whatever facility it was, they're suspended till inquiry happens. Now, in this case, nothing of that sort is happening. There is a complete silence that has been adopted by the police, other than the four-line statement that we saw yesterday. Absolutely no statement today. We also do not know what really has been the outcome of the post-mortem report, because that is very, very important in this case. Family, in fact, since yesterday is maintaining that it's a case of custodial killing. The person was brutally tortured to the extent that he lost his life. Now, these are very serious allegations, and since the police is tight-lipped on the allegations of the family, silence in many times is seen as acceptance. So this should not be the case. The police should come out with more facts. Today, as you rightly said, there was a shutdown in the Kashmir Valley against the incident. People are angry, they're anguished like the family. They want answers, they want facts out on this case. And in fact, even for the police department, this is a time to come out and fix responsibility, to restore its credibility, because since they're maintaining silence, so people are raising there's a lot of finger pointing that is going on, conspiracy theories, even political parties have jumped into it. So this is high time that they should do a fair probe and ensure that there is a sense of closure for the family, because family is still maintaining that this is killing, this is cold-blooded murder. Latest, Tanvi, that I can share with you is that moments back I got this input that the case has been shifted to Pulwama. ADM, Additional District Magistrate Pulwama, will now supervise the investigation and has been told to furnish report in 4 weeks. While that is fine, but immediately there should have been action against the police officials who were there. They should have been at least suspended. That is pretty basic as far as the government expectation of the people and the family is concerned.
Right.
But nothing has happened, and that really raises a lot of questions over the intentions of a free and fair probe as far as the administration.
Yes, and the fact of the matter is, because there has been a lot of anger and unrest, and people have been very upset in the last few weeks, obviously, as the crackdown on terror also takes place, and many others would have been picked up alongside to be questioned, and those who are innocent let go later on. But in such a time, for this incident to take place is only going to antagonize the locals even more, which is why it becomes so important. Farid, thanks so much for joining us. Let me quickly go across to Mr. Kuldeep Khora, who's joining us, former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. I also have Majid Bande, a political analyst, joining us this evening. But I want to go across to Mr. Khora first and ask him, what is the procedure? Because I find it a little odd that nobody, whoever was in charge of that case or that investigation, has even been suspended yet pending inquiry, Mr. Khora.
No, as far as the family and others are concerned, it's very right that there must be anger in the family because they have lost a son, and that too at a young age. But we cannot prejudge the issues in the debates like this, because while fixing the responsibility, we have to be clear. Even police cannot come out with any statement at this stage unless the cause of death is ascertained. You know, the postmortem is conducted by a board, a reputed board of Government Medical College, Srinagar, and they are for all, nobody can dispute that they'll be fair and impartial in their postmortem report, and the postmortem report cannot come out just in one day, because the viscera and other things have also to be sent to the laboratories, and the reports have to be obtained. It has to be a clear-cut report to ascertain the cause of death. So, without knowing the cause of death, to prejudge the issue, to say that police has tortured the person, or to say that the police officer should be suspended in anticipation of post-mortem report, that is premature. I mean, we try to rush to conclusions and try to fix the fault without really knowing the facts of the case. Now, about this person, the police must have had a valid reason to pick him up. He had a past also. He was arrested in 2015. He was put under PSA in August last year. Then he was released sometime in January, February this year. He has a family background, and his own association with the banned Jamaat Islami. And then police had no personal dispute with him or with the family, that he was picked up just like that without any reason. There were lots of reasons, and in the PSA dossier, the involvement of the person is very clearly mentioned, and the dossier is put up to the district magistrate, who finally concurs with the police dossier and then issues a PSA warrant for preventive detention.
Sure.
So it is not that a person is arbitrarily picked up and he dies because of torture and the police officer should be suspended. Let me complete. You know, there was a case also a few years back, I remember, where police inspector had, the police had picked up a person and he was put to interrogation for involvement in some of the militant actions or militant harboring and helping the militants. And this person died, and under that time there was a political government, and the political government came under pressure, mainly because of pressures generated from various quarters. The inspector was suspended, and after postmortem and thorough inquiry and the report of the medical board and a high-level medical board, it was established that the poor person could not probably withstand the pressure of being arrested and subjected to questioning. He had died of a heart failure. Now, how do you justify taking action prematurely without ascertaining the facts? This way, and especially in a conflict zone, where police is also working under tremendous pressure. Police has lots of lives. So many policemen were killed on the road just because they were performing their normal duties.
That's a different thing, Mr. Koda. I don't think it's fair for you to cite these issues right now, a death when the person is in the custody of police, an unexplained death where the family is making allegations of torture is a completely different thing. It doesn't even know 1 minute, sir. I heard you out now. No, but it's unfair for you right now to talk to us about the other the sacrifices that the police makes, because there is no comparison Obviously, what the police does and the policemen do for our country is respected for that, but it is not a fair comparison to make. And I am right now not even sitting here and making a judgment on whether this man was guilty.
What I'm saying is that...
Yes, okay, got your point. But I am not right now even saying whether this man is guilty or not, even if he was a suspect.
I am not
even if he was a suspect, Mr. Kota, I have a question for you.
What I'm saying is that...
I have a question for you, if I may just finish the question. If I may just finish the question, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Even if this man was a suspect, even if he's been picked up in the past, that's exactly what we saw in the Bihar custodial death case that happened just last week, that was also debated on this show, where he was picked up. He had two other cases. In one, he had served jail term and he had been let go. The police picks him up for another suspicion and beats him so badly that he dies in police custody. It doesn't matter if you're a repeat offender. It doesn't matter even if you are a criminal. That doesn't give the right to anybody within the police department to torture and beat somebody up. Now, that has to be investigated. I am sure you agree with me on that. So, I am saying for a minute, we don't have to go into whether or not he is a terror suspect or he has links with somebody. The fact of the matter is that he has died under mysterious circumstances in police custody, and so far nobody has been suspended. Should that not be the protocol? That's what I'm asking.
No, that's not the protocol, that a person has to be suspended immediately just because he has died. Yes, it is regrettable that he has died. He should not have died. But the point is that if the police is performing its job without knowing whether anybody is at fault, what's the cause of death, is it fair to suspend a police person? Because especially you can't compare Bihar with J&K. The police here has been working under tremendous pressure and we want results from police and they have been delivering the results. And if we resort to these actions, like suspending without knowing the cause of death, without any inquiry, then at the same time you want police to function and meet the terrorist challenge. It's going to discourage the police working. How can you expect a police person to perform and put his life at stake in defending the country and in working in a very different atmosphere where their families are also staying in valley and they are also under threat? Yes. Then you want results from the police. At the same time, you want to take action against a policeman without ascertaining the facts.
So I agree with you
unfair.
there. Policemen often have been at the receiving end of this. Their families have been at the receiving end of that.
Cause of death. And then proceed further. Then there should be an impartial probe.
But a wrong cannot justify another wrong.
Should be ascertained.
Okay, point taken.
Proceed.
Let's wait for the investigation, at least the post-mortem. Majid Vanda is with us. One comment from him as well, Majid. Does it make the situation worse for the people living in that part of Kashmir, that when they see that the police is not even acting on it so far, that the inquiry may take a month and no action may be taken for a month then?
I have a great respect for Mr. Huda, but I strongly disagree with the statement he was giving on your channel. Actually, the Kashmir, there is a different set of circumstances that are going on in Kashmir from the last 30 years. So the police and the state missionary, they have to be more cautious when they are tackling the issues like this, which they have been tackling from the last 30 years. So regarding the issue of Rizwan, who was killed in that we call as extrajudicial murder, that was done in the police custody. So I have a strong disagreement with the channel as well when you write that it was a custodial death. We believe it was not a custodial death, but it was extrajudicial murder. It was a killing done by the police officials in the police custody. So you have to change the narratives, because when you call Kashmir as well integral part, so you have to treat Kashmir as well integral part. And as Mr. Huda was already telling, that the police men, they are doing a lot of sacrifices for the India in Kashmir. So let me partially agree with him, but that does not mean that there should be a license given to the Kashmir police to kill the people. In the rest of the states of the India, the people, when something wrong happens with them, they move to the police stations to get safer places. But in Kashmir, it is other way around. So unless and until you will not give Kashmiris a space to live peacefully in Kashmir, until and unless you will not consider Kashmiris as human beings, so the circumstances they are going to be same as is happening from the last 30 years. So the Kashmir has been turned into a police state. The law and order is completely failure here. So the
Well,
Indian
I take.
establishment, the Indian government, they have to understand, they have to treat Kashmiris as the human beings. And until and unless this is not going to happen, the blood of Kashmiris that is going to spill on the roads of the Kashmir.
Well,
And
Majid, I agree.
we
I
are
agree to a
feeling,
certain
we are
extent.
feeling
Unfortunately,
suffocated,
of course.
we are feeling humiliated on the Kashmiri soil, and we do not see our future safe with the India. That's
Well, no,
all.
Majid,
And
the
you
point
might be
here
seeing
is
today
not to
on
talk about larger political issues when it comes to Kashmir, because frankly, that's not a 10-minute conversation that we can do. The idea right now is to talk about what has happened in this specific case, about a custodial death that's taken place. And it's not just a problem in Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, if I look at the data between April 2017 and February 2018, there were 4 custodial deaths in Jammu and Kashmir versus 374 in Uttar Pradesh that tops the list. In all, there have been 1,500 instances in just 1 year. 1,500 people, suspects, innocent or criminal, have died in police custody, obviously because of the torture that was carried out. That is the reality of our country. And unless we fix this, and we make the police accountable, and we show that strict action will be taken, such kind of brutalities are going to continue. And then it doesn't matter, honestly, whether it is in Jammu and Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, West Bengal, or even Bihar, where the last case took place. But I'm going to thank Mr. Kuldeep Khoda, former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, for joining us. Thank you so much. And Majid Bande, also thank you to you for joining us on this conversation.